Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by Generals Joe's REBORN.com, with me as your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm all on my own. In this regular video series, I round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, me? No, I played the wrong video, but what is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Weekly, and yeah, you've clearly played the wrong video.
Good start to the episode. I thought I'd switched them around. Clearly, I hadn't. No, Pat's joining. It was a fake out. It was all planned. I just made everyone think that Pat wasn't here and I was on my own. And there he is. How are you doing, buddy?
Well, hopefully you're not predicting anything about my internet connection today.
Oh, let's hope not. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, it's the Full Force Weekly and already have thousands of comments. What is going on? That is crazy, guys. Everyone is going absolutely bonkers in the chat. Great to see. I would call everyone out, but there's like about 1 trillion of you already chatting away. Anyway, thanks for jumping on this Saturday morning. Pat, how goes it? Are you all right?
Oh, yeah. I've just been very busy. It's good. I was at the toy department last week, so I wasn't here.
That their new establishment, right?
Yes. Yes, it was very, very nice. It's big.
It's massive by the looks of things on TV. Yeah, so shout out to the toy department, to Chris and Kenny and everyone else there. There's so many of them. Who else? There's so many that work there, right?
Yeah, Paul and Matt, and yeah, there's quite a few now.
Yeah, and every time I've been to the toy department, Brian's been there as well. Kaufman's been there.
Yes, and of course Brian. Yeah, I mean, how can I not include Brian?
Let's leave him out of it. No shout out for him. Awesome, guys. So much news to get through this week. It's almost to the point where I almost said I was always going to message Pat and say, Pat, I've done like about 20 lives this week. I'm going to maybe pause this weekend and I'll do a response to the reveals. And I didn't. I just thought, sod it, let's just do it anyway. So you're getting another weekly full of absolute banter from me and Pat. Anyway, lots of news to get through, buddy. It's been crazy. Before we get to the SDCC stuff, because obviously that is the major news of the week, we're going to delve into some Diamond Select Toys news. Diamond Select Toys revealed their next G.I. Joe Gallery diorama statue, and it wasn't what anybody was expecting at all. Adventure Team G.I. Joe Colton was the awesome reveal, featuring the first Joe battling a huge snake on a crushed pontoon boat. Standing approximately 10 inches tall, made of high quality PVC, with detailed sculpting and paint applications, the statue boasts a very cool flocked hair and beard feature as well. Designed by Barry Bradfield and sculpted by Rocco Tartamella, it will cost $59.99, with pre-orders open now and shipping estimated for Q1 of 2024. There you go. What do you think about this one, Pat? Nice little reveal.
I'm really surprised. Yeah, this is an interesting one.
I know. It's like out of all of the DST gallery diorama type things they were going to do, I mean, it should have been one of those things that was sort of a possibility, based on the fact that those mini mates they revealed recently of the the kind of like Super Joe ones and the Adventure Team ones. So it's it's one of those things that maybe it should have been maybe on our thought process. But honestly, I was just expecting another like GI 80s kind of GI Joe nod.
Yeah, and I have to wonder if this isn't a prediction of things to come.
Ooh, you mean like some sort of I don't know, like a classified figure of this description, would you think?
Yeah, I kind of think that this would work. So, yeah, that's kind of my feeling, is at least this is on the mind. I mean, it may just be on the mind of some of them as licensees, but, the fact that it's getting approved by Hasbro and somebody wants to do it, and this is kind of a big thing. This is, to me, more than just mini-mates, because mini-mates are just kind of a small thing that, people pick up, and there's so many of them that it's nice to have those additional characters in there. But this is kind of a bigger deal.
Do you reckon if they do him, he'd come with a pontoon boat and a giant snake?
No.
Do you think if they did him, he'd come with a pontoon boat and a pygmy gorilla?
No.
Oh, because that was what the original one was, and I would have been all over that.
Yeah, he might come with some sort of animal, I would assume.
Yeah, because I could see them definitely doing that. Like next year's obviously the 60th. We've already had 60th kind of leaked listings. And we've kind of like nerd over what those two, is it Tom and Jerry, could be. But obviously this is from the 70s era, this particular homage right now. So I wonder, but that is, you know, with the 60th celebration, it's probably going to be all things G.I. Joe as well as the 60, you know, the 60s kind of thing. So I think there's a very high possibility we could see Joe Colton at some point in the classified series. Yeah, definitely. Anywho, this statue itself is really cool looking, and also it's got flocked hair. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, flocked hair and beard. So that's fun. I'm kind of excited to see that in the flesh. I just did, before this show started, a Diamond Select Toys Destro unboxing, which you can check out if you haven't already after the show. We did I did the gallery diorama unboxing of these. So this was a timely kind of affair. I'm hoping they send me this one as well, so I can open this one. Just saying, Diamond Select Toys, go ahead and send it. It's $59.99 as well, which is actually like I find that actually quite reasonable for the statues.
Yeah, that's really not that bad at all. I mean, statues can get pricey quickly, so that really isn't bad. And
yeah, totally.
It's a good size too. You know, not too cumbersome, but not small either.
Yeah, like I said, the ones I was messing around with today, they're quite solid and they're a decent size, like you say, and they're quite hefty. So yeah, that's not bad for $60. Pre-orders are open now. It says 7/21 on there. Obviously, that was yesterday. So go check that out right now. Shipping in Q1 of 2024. Will the 60th be revealed today, says RKW? Probably not. I imagine they would keep that for the actual 60th year anniversary thing. What do you think, Pat?
We'll probably find out sometime before next year, but
we'll probably find out before 4 or 5 o'clock today, I'd imagine. No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if 60th will be revealed today, but I've got a feeling that towards the end of the year, I would gauge if it's going to be.
I would assume so too. I would assume that they will just kind of hype that because the year will be on its way, and yeah, they'll definitely want to get that out in 2024. So it might be a little bit early. Right now, it feels like we're still getting reveals and things that are coming later this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. RKW says I'm a Diamond Select shill. I am now, actually. They're really good in hand. I was, absolutely gushing over it earlier. Rabbit hole already? Kind of feels that way, Jeffrey. But thankfully, they're satiating my rabbit hole. They're filling my rabbit hole for me. Sorry, that's a really poor choice of words. Anyway, what did you think of Crystar? Sorry, I just saw a Crystar comment in the comments there, Pat. Did you quite interested in Crystar being in the Marvel Legends line?
I think that's an interesting direction, and yeah, I want to see that figure. I don't know if I'll buy it because I don't really. I mean, I'm buying some 6-inch G.I. Joe, obviously, but I don't really buy 6-inch figures in general.
Yeah.
If it was a 4-inch figure, I would be all over it. But 6-inch and not G.I. Joe.
Yeah, true. I get you. Right, so that is DST Joseph Colton, the first G.I. Joe, fighting a massive snake on a pontoon boat that's getting crushed as a statue. Really excited for these statues now, oddly enough. We'll be doing another unboxing, of course, of the Baroness. I've got busts to open up. I've got mini mates to go nuts over. It's going to take a while, but yeah, it should be some fun times. Pat, can we remind Shark Eyes of who Crystar is? Or is there can we have a quick history of Crystar?
Crystar was a comic book made by Marvel back whenever I think somebody was getting excited about fantasy stories.
Yeah.
And so I can't remember who it was that wrote Crystar, but it was definitely somebody who was excited about like Lord of the Rings, and they wanted to really do this big epic comic book. And there was a toy tie-in, and you probably remember them by being the Crystal Warriors. They were clear action figures made by, was it Mego that made those?
Oh,
or
Remco.
Remco. It was probably like one of the best lines that Remco had done. And they're not cheap now because a lot of them break because they were clear figures, and they had a really cool clear dragon. And I think, what did it last? Just a few issues.
Yeah, 11, I think, like an 11-issue fantasy-based comic book. I'm trying to find who the writer was, but couldn't. Yeah, I can't be bothered. Anyway, that's amazing. There you go. There's your quick history lesson on Crystal. Thanks, Pat. Articulated points episode to follow, I imagine. Right?
No.
You're not going to.
I don't really know that much about Crystar. I mean, I bought the first issue and looked some things up, but yeah, I don't remember a whole lot. I remember them. I remember the specific store. That's what I do with toys, is I remember the specific store that I would see that toy in all the time. And to be honest, I'm not really sure what that store was. I just know that it was all the way in the back on the wall, and I remember which plaza it was in.
Amazing. That's pretty cool. I do have strong memories of shops where I picked up G.I. Joe figures, like so strong. Each individual figure as well.
You know what? It was the discount store in that plaza. It was the like closeout stuff. So that's why. Yeah,
it was already on sale. It had already gone to Ross.
That was whenever I saw it. It was already, on the way out, already done.
No way. Anyway, there's your Crystar update. Next I didn't get to do a video for that. Sorry, guys. Next video or next segment, we're going to be talking a little bit about Snake Eyes game development. Atomic Arcade have revealed in a blog post on their website that they have moved up from concept phase to pre-production on the AAA Snake Eyes video game. Wizards of the Coast gave the newly formed game studio the go-ahead during a recent visit to the establishment located in Raleigh, North Carolina. The news is very promising and puts into motion the process of getting the game and team ready for full production and then finally release. There's still some time to wait before we see anything from the game, but it's time to start those excitement engines. Get them revved up. Snake Eye, a bit more news on the Snake Eyes game. Now, this is an interesting one because I didn't realize it needed to go into the next phase. I thought it was already go. You build a studio to make a computer game, you're pretty much committing to make that computer game. So this was an interesting bit of information, very welcomed, but surprising. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe this is just a sign of how video games are made now. You need to go from having a small team working on the concept and everything to maybe having the larger team that starts building out all the assets, because somebody has to make, if there's a cereal box in the game, somebody has to design that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I hope there is actually. So this is one we've been excited for this for a while, since it kind of kicked off and all the noise coming out of it. The fact that it's a AAA game, the fact, like straight away, like the quality is going to be higher, the money going into it's going to be bigger, the development team's bigger, everything about this game is saying the right things. The people involved in it, Brandon Jura writing it, the people kind of like involved, even down to concept artists. It seems to be like something that I think we can get excited about. And at this point, it's gone from, like you say, concept phase to pre-production, and then that goes into actual production, and then phase 4 is release. So effectively, we're in phase 2 of a 4-phase situation. Probably still a good year and a half, maybe 2 years out, would you say?
Yeah, it's not going to be quick, but that's a good thing, because it sounds like every time we get news, it's good news. And if you took all of the things that we've complained about in previous G.I. Joe video games, including them not getting off the ground at all for a long time, all those things and complained about them, they are addressing all of that stuff by the way that they are approaching this, and I really appreciate that.
The fact that it's got an entire studio behind it as well, like that's crazy. And they again built from the ground up a little bit as well. I think what I was surprised at, because they're saying they were in concept phase, I thought concept phase was prior to the founding of the actual studio, because it felt like is it Ames Kirshen? I think it's Ames Kirshen. He was he was basically doing concept and stuff at Wizards of the Coast for this particular this idea for a G.I. Joe computer game. We saw those concept art pieces. Do you remember back on that HASBRO kind of like video, like corporate video or something they were doing? And you know, that was really cool. And we were all like, oh, this is going to be really cool if it's anything like this, with HISSTANK mech things and all sorts of crazy stuff, and Snake Eyes with, like, you know, a prosthetic leg and limbs and stuff. So I think that is what I thought the concept phase was before they went and built a blooming studio. And then I figured that would be pre-production phase, but apparently not.
Yeah, and I think that for as much development as this has gone through, I'm really not thinking that any of that. I'm thinking that that's just almost like hype, but not necessarily anything that we'll actually see. So
yeah,
I'm still curious to see what we actually do see on screen.
Yeah, when we start getting like little, you know, images
and whether or not I'm going to have to buy a new video game system by the time this thing comes out.
That's true.
In order to play it.
73rd generation PlayStation 75 or something is what we'll be getting next. The Xbox 3,060,000,000. Anyone remember Shinobi? Yes, RKW. I bloody love Shinobi. Anyway, yes, I mean, that's the game news. A nice bit of development information there for us. And interesting as well, Wizards of the Coast went to the studio and almost like gave it a, you know, kind of like, I suppose it was like the bosses are visiting kind of scenario. You know, we all have that at some point in our lives where the bosses from, you know, the upper echelons of the company turn up to check everything out. I'm sure you've had that in the past.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking that maybe later today, my life.
Today. Perfect. It must be it must be in the water. It's it must be something going on in the business world that's making everyone check up on their staff. But yeah, so they turn up there and give the go ahead. But that's great. At least we're moving again and getting into the right direction is what I would say. Very exciting stuff. Cannot wait for this. And that brings that to a close. Now, guys, we have got a little bit, because this kind of ties in with SDCC, but it was revealed beforehand. So we've done a little separate segment to talk about THREEZEERO. THREEZEERO have been at it again with two brand new reveals right in the middle of the SDCC build-up. First, they revealed Destro and followed that up with Cobra Commander. They've been showing the figures off at SDCC, but we will get to that later on the SDCC wrap-up segment. Pre-orders will be following soon, so keep an eye on the socials for any updates. Yes, absolutely. This is a comment that I really enjoyed from Yorktown Joe. I thought concept phase was when the creator is thinking about it while showering and shaving. Yeah, that's exactly what concept phase is, in my opinion. You agree with that one, Pat?
Yeah.
And also, you can throw another SH word in there as well, because that's where most of my thinking goes on. I can't say it out loud, though, because it will be, yeah, exactly. And now everyone's thinking of the poop emoji. Right. THREEZEERO reveals Destro and Cobra Commander. This was, I would say, surprise, but I don't know why I'm continually surprised by the licensees bringing out product around SDCC and Yojo June. Why does that surprise me?
Yeah, probably because my mind isn't there expecting to see more of this stuff, you know. And a lot of the stuff from licensees, it's like, well, I'm happy that they released some things, but I don't necessarily expect it to continue to infinity. You know,
yeah.
So, and it doesn't even feel like it's a failure if more doesn't come out.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's all that they planned on making. So, yeah, I was not. I guess I really should have expected these. It's Destro and Cobra Commander.
Pretty obvious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same though. Like I wasn't. I think you're right. It's like because you're not thinking directly about it, and they space out the reveals so often. I think we'll get to the point like next year probably, where we are expecting to see things, and if we don't see them, then we're going to be like, well, hang on, we're not. Where are all the THREEZEERO reveals? Where are all the Mezco reveals and stuff like that? So yeah, we will get to Mezco as well in a little while. They did have a few little cute reveals for SDCC, But what do you think about Destro first and foremost, buddy?
I really like the sculpting they have on the fists. The fact that they look like they are metal fists, I think, is a huge plus because it makes me think of the original Destro art. I've stared at that original Destro card art so many times and wondered, were his hands intended to be silver? Because they are not colored black like his outfit, like the toy. If you look at the original Destro card art, they're colored the same way in that art as his head is.
Yeah.
So I've often wondered, did they consider chroming the hands of Destro in addition to the head?
What does the pre-production stuff kind of hint at? Because that would have been maybe reference, wouldn't it, for people that were doing artwork like HexaGreedo and people like that?
Right. Yeah. The only reference I can find really is there's that earlier Destro that appears in a Toy Fair catalog, and it has black hands.
Yeah. I wonder if they might have, like you say, there might have been a version of it floating around early on, and when they realized they couldn't do that, they just painted them black, but Hector had already done the artwork, maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, that there would just be too much wear on the hands, or that chroming them would make them too thick, and that you'd have a lot of broken thumbs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it would flake off immediately, wouldn't it? Like,
yeah, but you know what? Destro's head, like when you think about chrome stuff that flakes, Destro's head's something different because, Beast Wars stuff, that's all falling off. But Destro's head, like you could pretty much, yeah, they can get scuffed, but it's not like they're actually chipping and flaking. They're pretty solid.
Yeah, I have to agree on that one. I was just thinking, like, it's slightly different in it with a head and a hands. Like the hands are constantly going to be like having things stuffed in them.
Yeah.
And at least with the head, it's really just maybe around the neck that you'd expect flaking, where it's like where the connection of the articulation is, or where it rubs against the back of the
the toy just lays down and scuffs the back of his head sometimes.
Yeah.
But I really like that Diamond Select has driven home the look of some really heavy metal gloves here with the way that his fist looks.
Yeah, it's really nice, this one. I like this one a lot. And also, like this seems to be the way forward now with Destro, doesn't it? They're all obviously kind of operating off the same reference material, the same licensee license in materials is the word I'm looking for. But they've all gone with this kind of like lined padding interior, which is always really nice on the. I guess they do it on the higher end stuff because it gives you something more interesting to work with. Obviously, with like Super 7, they're going to go animation accurate, and that's smooth, simple, basic kind of like lines. But with the kind of higher end 12-inch Mezco, 6-inch classified, you can definitely see that they're trying to do different things with it to give it more like interest and stuff. But then also, I guess it might be easier to do something padded than to just do a red basic, I say easier, but like, how would it might not look right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he may have a lot of smooth surfaces. Obviously, you can't do a lot of wrinkles up in that area. So how do you make that look dynamic? Just to give it a look. I'm warming up to it. Honestly, when I saw it on the classified figure, I've not really loved it because it seems to tie Destro closer to Cobra with the coils.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And Destro is Destro. Even the song in
Cobra and Destro.
Cobra and Destro. He was definitely like a separate entity there from the beginning in the cartoon. And the toy didn't have a Cobra logo on him. He's, in Cobra, but he's Destro.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a big deal.
Interesting they went with that. I mean, the design was very much to accentuate the logo, I guess, wasn't it? To kind of like incorporate it into him, I suppose.
It feels like it, yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, though. What does it say? I was surprised Destro's eyes are red as I expected green. I haven't looked at it close enough, actually. I didn't even clock that. But we'll have a look at some of the close-up shots in the SDC segment in a second. First up, though, there's some information on him. So obviously, he's at the Diamond booth 2401. He'll be there the whole time at SDCC. And the pre-orders will be going up shortly afterwards. They're he's 12.2 inches tall. I think Cobra Commander's 12 inches tall. So he's a little bit bigger than Cobra Commander, which is pretty cool. Not by a great deal, though. Okay. Then Cobra Commander. This one looks kind of nice, doesn't he?
Yeah, looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can't really go wrong with Cobra Commander if you stick to that kind of design. You can't really go wrong with him, I don't think.
Yeah, this is another thing that I always find interesting whenever something gets added to a character at some point and then just kind of pops up regularly and kind of sticks as being part of them. It's the cape.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't originally a part of this design, but it worked so well and looked so good that it just keeps being reused.
It does feel sometimes when you look at Cobra Commander that he's unfinished or he's very light in his, in his kind of like original visage. As soon as you throw the cape on, it just fills that space. Like the same kind of feeling I get sometimes when a character or a figure doesn't come with a backpack, and you can definitely see that it needs to. I feel that way with, I want to say, like Iceberg, version 2 Night Creeper, like the Ninja Force one. I wish it kind of had that fluffy.
Well, he was supposed to have that cape.
Yeah. That's what I mean, though. Like the figure doesn't look finished because it's not.
It definitely is missing something. I agree.
And I think I feel the same way about the Battlecore Viper. The purple is it the purple and red one?
Yeah.
I feel like that needs a backpack to fill out, just kind of
fill
that space.
That's kind of true of a lot of the Battlecore figures. There's not a lot of backpacks going around. I think you had one with like cross country and not a lot. I can't really think at the moment, but there's definitely a shortage of backpacks there.
Yeah,
maybe they started including sprues.
Yeah. Anyway, Cobra Commander looks really nice. Not much more to say. Similar situation with Destro. Like I said, this one's 12 inches tall, and like you say, pre-orders will be going up pretty soon, I imagine. Right, that is that. Destro and Cobra and Destro. There they are. Look, fighting to save.
Good.
They do look pretty cool, don't they? Yeah. I like that. Obviously the cape's going to have some sort of like metal wiring in it to kind of pose it, so that's pretty cool as well. Really into these in a massive way. Leon says, can we have a Threezero whale, please? Yeah, that's a good idea. That'll be the same size as the table I'm at the moment, probably. You can't see how big the table is, but it's massive. It's an extender. Anyway, next up, Pat, we have to talk about, as if we didn't have enough already to talk about with Super 7, Ultimates Wave 5. As if we didn't have enough to talk about with Super 7 at SDCC this year, but they only went and revealed Wave 5 of their latest G.I. Joe Ultimates. The 4-figure wave consists of the Sunbow-inspired Crimson Guard, second animated iteration of CoverGirl, and the classic Sunbow Major Blood, as well as a vintage figure and miniseries-inspired version 1 of Roadblock. The full wave is available on Super 7's website with another Super accessory pack as an incentive to get the entire wave from them. They also put up the Wave 4 figures again for those who missed out the first time. Yeah, okay, so lots to get through with Ultimates Wave 5 here, mate. First off, are you happy with the lineup? Are you surprised by any of these? I got them all right, so do I get a medal?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by any of them because you called all of them.
It was genuinely didn't know this was the lineup. I swear to you, I know some things, but I didn't know this. And we talked about this multiple times, hadn't we, of what we expected the next wave to kind of look like, both on camera and off. And it was like, we felt like Blood was one that was definitely on the cards. Roadblock was due, and CoverGirl was another one that made sense with the whole, getting a female figure in the wave as well. So what I will say, I'm surprised at two things. One, or am I surprised at two things? I'm surprised at one thing, that CoverGirl didn't do the blonde hair version first. And I don't know why, but I was just expecting them to do that based on the reaction figure we got earlier. I mean, were you surprised at any of the stuff that was in here?
Not really.
Hey, there she is.
Yeah, there she is. I mean, this is a good cover girl. I just kind of thought when this one came out that they could easily have done, like, prepared 2 different heads as they have for some of their other bodies, and maybe we'll see cover girl again.
Yeah.
But they will want to spread out the releases of cover girl. So yeah, no, not really. I think that if you're going to release cover girl, you release the one that people are most familiar with, which is the one that they're doing.
Yeah.
And they can't really give that one the blonde hair because that's not the color of her uniform when she was blonde. Now, maybe later on down the road, they could do that one as well, but I don't think that it would have made sense to lead with that version of cover girl.
Yeah, awesome. Cobra Ninja 109 says, yeah, cover girl's outfit was green when her hair was blonde, so they'll probably do a repaint for that. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe like going into next SDCC, depending on what they kind of do with the exclusives and stuff. But you know, then they do tend to throw in the occasional repaint of a particular figure in Ultimates and Reaction, as we've seen this year as well. Anyway, so yeah, let's have a look at them. We also get, if you're going to order all 4 from Super 7's website, they're throwing in another accessory pack. Now, this one's an interesting one because there is a random fist in there. And I still don't know why there is a random left fist in there. Like, is it filling a gap that we haven't had in one of the figures that we just haven't paid attention to?
I actually looked over all the waves of figures trying to figure out who that could go to. And I think that everybody who has black gloves on has a left fist hand already.
So weird.
So I don't know why this is in there, unless it's just, you know, maybe something was going to be, maybe it's going to come painted and I just can't predict what it is. I don't know. This is definitely a question that we should ask at some point, because I don't know why this is included.
So I'm looking at Cobra Commander, right? And he's got he's got a left fist as well. He's got a default left fist that he's actually rocking already. So it's not for him necessarily. You're right, mate. Yeah. Red Jackal, he's even got two black fists going on. I do not know what.
And the thing is, it's going to have to be sized a certain way, because obviously the Destro hands are larger than the Baroness hands. I'm not sure which fist. I mean, I think, isn't that who's the knife go to? Is that a Baroness knife?
I'm gonna say yes. Good shot. Yeah, it was the version 1 Baroness has that knife in all silver, I think.
So I started wondering if maybe the SDCC Baroness is missing a left fist, that they may have just, you know, as they are producing her, throwing the fist in here for some strange reason. Like maybe that knife fits into the fist. Like maybe there's a hole in there so that it can hold it.
Oh, this is a good shout. Pastor Pierogi says, is there a left fist that's prone to breaking? That could be what it's about.
Maybe.
That could be what it's about. Thanks for the idea there. Again, we will reach out to Brian and see if he has an answer for that. A fist filling a gap. That's what Kitty said. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, again, it's quite a nice little loadout of accessories. I like when we get lots more kind of like the Sunbow rifles as well. They're really going nuts with the Sunbow rifles. But it's not, I would say this pack isn't as interesting maybe as the first one.
I don't know. I love the inclusion of an extra jump jet pack. That's definitely a big bonus. And the Sunbow rifle is good.
Yeah, I'd give that to I'd probably give that jump pack to Roadblock, or because obviously Stalker's already got one. Yeah, Roadblock can have that one. Anyway, that's cool. Who would you give it to, Pat?
Somebody without a backpack already, and Roadblock has one, so.
Oh, he does, I guess. Yeah, you're right. They all have stuff, though, really. Look, Scarlet can have it then. Scarlet is rocking that. Done. Sorted. And I've seen her use one as well, so that's even better. Right, Major Blood. Major Blood! Absolute belter, this one. And I love this head on him. And it looks like, doesn't it look like he's blowing up behind him? He's blowing up whatever's behind him. And it's caught him. He's gone and go, ah! I've only got to apply me bloody back up.
He's like the first character of G.I. Joe ever to react to the explosion that's happening behind it.
That's so true. I'm going to be going through every card now just to see like if any of the others look like they're reacting to an explosion. But no, I think you're right. This is the first ever example of a character feeling the warmth minimum of that explosion behind them. Absolutely brilliant. Again, comes with some interesting kind of items. They don't go crazy with the homage stuff, but the figure, I mean, he himself is a Sunbow like classic character, and he's so synonymous in Sunbow, I think, especially like in the early sort of like Sunbow series stuff, like you know, and Pyramids of Darkness. Obviously, he's quite a main character in that as well. But I don't know. I think he's great, and I love the Sunbow design. I love the way they've done the arm, the body armor. He just looks so good.
Yeah, I've always liked the Sunbow colors on Major Blood anyway, because the helmet on the original toy, like the Cobra Officer, the Cobra Trooper, Cobra Commander, and Major Blood, they all share that same basic helmet shape. And I always thought that it was interesting to tie Major Blood a little bit closer to the Cobra Officer and Trooper by giving him that blue helmet rather than a black one.
Yeah.
I just think that looks, I mean, it's not something that I have to have every single time.
Yeah.
But I do think that it adds a little touch of Cobra to the character that I enjoy.
I wonder if, because obviously we talked about this in the past, but we knew that the last two retro classified figures were going to be Snake Eyes and Major Blood, and it turned out they switched Major Blood out for Crimson Guard. I wonder if that Major Blood in that line plan that we had was going to be this color, this deco, with like the blue helmet and the lighter brown and the you know, almost like and the silver arm kind of thing.
They seem to be steering closer to the original toys as much as possible whenever they were doing those retro carded figures. So I kind of wonder how different the Major Blood we did get was originally planned to be. Like if that thing got changed to be closer to the original Major Blood, and so therefore it made less sense to do the retro one.
Just wanted to put this up here by Shark Eyes. Judging by the expression on his face, etc., etc. There you go. I did see it, and I actually giggled at it when I first saw it. You might have noticed. And then someone said, that comment is not getting read, says a punk with toys. I'm like, no, it is. Absolutely is. Anyway, yeah, and also comes with a lot of cool stuff. The binoculars, the detonator, and the A4 cassette are nice little additions. And of course, you've got the bomb and the different kind of laser blasters as well, and lots of hands. Again, he's not like dripping in homage, but he has got a few nice bits and bobs in there from the cartoon. Yeah, love it. And I love the head sculpts. They're so good. I like it when they're more varied than just like neutral, smiling, mouth open. Like I like it when it's like, you know, a neutral head, totally, but then like a really exaggerated visage and then something else. And that's exactly what they've done here. There's a lot of variation going on with these heads.
Yeah, it's going to lead to a lot of good figure photography, and I'm curious. I would like to see an actual shelf where everybody is doing something, you know, all the expressions are different rather than just the neutral pose.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun seeing all this together, isn't it? I think the Ultimates, like that. Yeah, that's something that I'm excited to see a little bit more of, especially when Eric, shout out to Eric Aranya, sent us this kind of like what the Ultimates line looks like at the moment, which is kind of crazy, isn't it? It's kind of crazy. It's already that kind of amount of figures revealed or released. That's crazy cool. We also got obviously the Crimson Guard. Now this is a fun one because they have gone full on Sunbow. They've really followed the kind of quirky nature of the design of the helmet with the Sunbow kind of style here. What are your thoughts here, Pat, on the Crimson Guard?
I actually have trouble remembering the Crimson Guard appearing often in the Sunbow cartoon.
It's like, not often, is it? It's not.
No.
It's only like a few episodes, I think.
Yeah, obviously they're there in the beginning of the movie, and that makes any appearance in the movie is going to make them instantly more memorable in the cartoon. But realistically, in the actual episodes, they're not in there a whole lot.
Yeah, like Primordial Plot is the one that they were kind of, you know, like having a what's the word, homage. And then this is full of good homage because you've got the coffee and donuts, which is from Primordial Plot. You've got the head, the blonde hair with the glasses, Primordial Plot again, and you've got the germ episode with the germ, big purple germ thing at the bottom there, and the germ test tubes that break that create the germ in the first place, and they're in that episode. So, like, yeah, you're right. It's fewer episodes, but certainly they've really managed to get a couple of good homages in there, I think, personally.
Yeah, they've done a really nice job of it. They've definitely done their homework and made sure that they put some stuff in there. I like it.
The
I also like
backpack,
the blue trim that they've
oh,
put on there.
yeah, that's definitely specifically from a couple of the episodes of where they've done that, and it looks nice, doesn't it? It's a really nice kind of pop on that red. I like that. Another thing, they've really bloated the backpack out, where because that's what I found funny about the animated version sometimes is the back, like, you know, some of the backpack proportions or some proportions in general would be a little bit weird or shaped weird, and the backpack is definitely one that they've looked at a few frames and they've gone, yeah, let's try and make it very accurate to like how the animators did it.
Yeah, I always wonder, what is the Crimson Guard carrying in there? You know, like, is it just decorative? You know, when Cobra was designing Crimson Guard uniforms, they were like, carry this around because it looks neat.
Yeah. Oh, more episodes telling. Barking Fishes, there were 42 appearances of Crimson Guards. That's a lot more than we thought. Gods Below is a good one, yes. I feel like that has the Joes in Crimson Guard disguises as well, doesn't it? Could bonus hand and knife go for guard? Guard only has 5 hands. Yeah, but it's basically a fist, which is what we're seeing a fist there. So it'd be effectively 2 fists.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I kind of wonder if there isn't a hole in that fist in order to put the knife in from the Baroness. I can't quite see.
Yeah, I think you've got it.
Shadow.
I think you've got it. I think that's actually right. Oh, 42 is the meaning of life, Chris. Thank you, RKW. I appreciate it now. It is as well. But yeah, like that knife definitely goes in that hand, doesn't it? That is the knife holding hand. That's why it's in there.
I'm guessing. Yeah, it's a knife holding hand, and so the knife probably fits directly in there, which would make that a Baroness hand, which, like I said, it could be something where the Red Baroness is being produced, and they just have these. But I think that she comes with that hand. So I'm a little confused at what's going on. And her fists, I don't think doesn't she have red hands?
Yeah, the Red Knock Baroness has like a dark kind of maroony hands, but it looks like she comes with that left hand with the knife. Maybe it's because they both come together, Kitty said. So I guess that's why they're putting both of them in there. Anyway, it'll make more sense when I ask the question and they give us an answer. So we'll do that instead. Right, so that's Crimson Guard. Roadblock. Now, this one is another one that's been definitely on the cards for inclusion in the Ultimates line. And not surprised they've gone with the version 1 here. This is my personal, what I think is going to happen, because they're holding on to what I think is their kind of ace card, not ace, but like what I think they're holding on to the movie as a vehicle to include some of the classic characters in that film, their appearances in that kind of line, shall we say.
Yeah.
So I think that version 2 Roadblock will be seen with like a half changed Cobra Commander, maybe his faceplate, maybe some other, interesting things, vines, maybe a head sculpt with the white eyes to show that he's blind. Things like that. That's what I expect that Roadblock to be done. Oh, where that roadblock's going to kind of come into it. But what do you think about this particular one? Are you happy they've done this one?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is the roadblock that I had version 1 roadblock as a kid. So that was not the version 2 isn't my roadblock, although I really like that design a lot.
Yeah.
I like version 1.
Totally. And also this opens a door for a Tiger Force repaint, would you say?
Yes, I hadn't really thought about that because a lot of their stuff, it seems to be so Sunbow inspired. Although I guess there is a Sunbow roadblock probably if he appears in that animation for the commercial. Technically, that was done by Sunbow. So,
and they've just proven that Tiger Force and Python Patrol is something they're doing with reaction. So I definitely could see them do it with Ultimates. And plus, it gets Duke re-released, it gets Flint redone, it gets Roadblock. You know,
it's not like Red Knock Baroness appeared in Sunbow. So
that's true. Or did she? I'm going to go through every episode now. No, she didn't. She clearly, obviously didn't. Anyway, yes, love this loadout as well. Very much his vintage figure loadout. The backpack, the tripod, the machine gun, the helmet. This is one as well where the heads aren't that distinctly different. I mean, yes, they're doing different things, but I don't think it's as varied as, say, Major Blood, or even obviously the Crimson Guard, which has like completely different head sculpts. What would you say to that?
I don't know. He has the neutral face. He has a nice the face with a grin on it is actually fun.
Yeah. Like when he meets his family at the Red Rocket.
He's just made a really silly rhyme, is what it looks like to me. Like he's made something extra silly, and he's proud of himself.
That's amazing. Yeah, now I suppose he's got his angry one. I mean, they're different. Don't get me wrong. I just think in some of the other cases, it's way more, exaggerated.
Major Blood is way more different, but that's because he's in a pose that he appeared in where he laughs.
I think I want a chef's hat, and I really want a chef's hat, and we're not getting a chef's hat for any of the characters I thought we'd get chef's hats for. So I'm hoping that they do a removable chef's hat that fits on everyone's heads at some point in an accessory pack, which is very doubtful, because you just expect it to be molded on to a head sculpt. But like we've had Gung Ho now with no chef's hat. Maybe they'll do Leatherneck. Maybe Leatherneck will have a chef's hat. It just has to happen at some point, surely.
I don't know why you're fixed on the chef's hat.
Hey, Sunbow.
Next week, when we come on to see you in a chef's hat.
Put my alternate head on. Chef's hat, see? G.I. Joe, right? Everyone's like, what is he talking about? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, lovely stuff. Anyway, I love this roadblock. I think it's really cool. That is going to be one heavy figure for all the gear he comes with.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That little thin knife as well, which slots into that side sheath, and of course the pistol going in there too. Yeah, so Let's Play Soldier reference is what I'm getting at, guys. Yeah, 100%. Barbecue hat from Red Rocket's Glare, says Barking Fridge. Absolutely. Disappointed roadblock doesn't come with massage oil, says Adam. Absolute genius. Yeah, body massage. That would be gross. Anyway, last but certainly not least is Running CoverGirl. What did you think of CoverGirl?
I like it. She looks good.
I have to agree with that. At first, when I saw her reveal, I was like, oh, it's CoverGirl. They've covered it well. But then when I really got to look at this render, I'm like, actually, there's loads of nice little details in there. I love I love the deco on this figure, and I love the fact that she's got, again, extremely distinctive, different head sculpts going on here. We've got short hair, long hair, and we've got this helmet, which we've been trying to find out if there's any direct reference here, or if it's just because, she's a tank operator. Maybe it's just one of those things they thought, well, let's give her a kind of like a tank helmet with mouthpiece. But do you remember any times CoverGirl wore a helmet?
No, I can't remember that. My memory of the Sunbow, like I focus so much on the toys that my memory of the Sunbow cartoon is getting foggy if it's not those first couple of episodes, because I didn't have the repetition of season 1 and 2 when I was little because they didn't air.
Yeah.
You know, I've said it many times. I had the first 2 miniseries. I had some VHS tapes that I was able to rent a couple of times. And then I had the movie on VHS and anything that they reran during Deke episodes.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there were a number of episodes that whenever they finally got released onto DVD, that was my first opportunity to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have like the childhood repetition of having seen those many, many times. For me,
what about in the comic? Because I know
comic.
you're a comic aficionado. Could you recall maybe using a helmet in that?
I don't remember her wearing that in the comic.
Oh, okay. Robert's saying there is one particular episode she wore it, but can't remember what episode in the Sunbow series, like a cameo scene. Okay, cool. This is an interesting thing, right? So a couple of things. There's a few levels to the long hair head sculpt here. First of all, she is seen in this costume with long hair in that color in the film, and it's when she's in an oar striker, I believe, and it's there was an image floating around anyway. So in the movie, she does have long hair in that color. So what I think we're seeing here is an homage to that, but also, and that would probably be our first movie homage, I think. Also, I would suggest that this is a pre-paint for the head to be reused in blonde for a blonde version of this particular figure. So I think that's what the balance is here. It's almost like a pre-paint for the blonde. Sorry, Pat, go on, mate.
I was just saying, yes, I agree.
Good, because
giving that sort of verbal feedback to encourage you to go on, and then you're like, "What's that? Stop." No, like keep going. You were doing good. Yes, I agree.
You're doing fine, Chris. You're doing fine. Just keep going. Everything's fine. It's all good. Anyway, I love that, and I think that's what we're dealing with here. I think pre-paint for the blonde head to be reutilized for a different, repaint or maybe even a slight redesign. I'd have to look at both models next to each other, both animation models, to see exactly what's going on. You might be able to get away with just repainting it, but it might be something they want to, do accurately. And then we've got some other awesome stuff. We've got the now in the episode Spell of the Sirens or Spell of the Siren, the Baroness finds this conch, is how it's pronounced, I believe, conch, however you would prefer to pronounce it, shell that she blows through and mesmerizes and hypnotizes all the men. Now, this device is the mind nullifier ray or whatever it's called, and that is not a speed camera, which a few people thought it was a speed gun, but that is utilized obviously in opposition of the conch. So that is that particular item, which is pretty cool. She gets a walkie-talkie, sunbow rifle, multiple hands, and then all I can imagine with the helmet and these items are that they've just given her Wolverine-related items here, Pat. The shovel, the sledgehammer, and the only thing
that's weird is, don't you think it's weird that they show the M16 in the package but not separately?
Didn't even notice that. It might be that when I laid the image next to each other, that it's just covering the M16. But I think you're right. I think you're right in that it isn't shown on the loadout.
I don't think
that is interesting. She gets an M16 as well. Didn't even notice that. Good eyes. Have I missed any other things out on any of the other figures?
I don't think so.
No, I am prone to do stupid things like that where I rush. No, it looks like it's just CoverGirl.
I don't think that you covered it up. I don't think that I had seen that other than when I was just sitting here looking at the package.
It's not covered up. No, it's definitely just only seen in the package. That's interesting. I wonder if it could be a render error where they've overlaid this onto one that did have that rifle, or she could actually come with that rifle, which would be pretty cool actually. In actual fact, we can find out because on Super 7's website, these are already up for pre-order and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
So of course they are. It's the Ultimate Wave stuff, isn't it? So let's have a quick butchers to see if CoverGirl comes with an M16 for sure. And I can tell you that accessories wise, she gets missile, rifle, mind control nullifier gun, hammer, shovel, walkie-talkie. There's no mention of the other rifle. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe they planned to give it to her, but then they pulled it out and forgot to take it out of the picture.
Could be. Could very well be.
So it's questionable.
Yeah, we'll find out. Obviously, when, and again, I'll ask that question, and I'll ask the question about. I've already forgotten what the other question I was going to ask was about, guys. Oh, the fist and the knife. Okay, that I believe is everything for the ultimates. Yeah, we've covered all of the figures. Nice one, good little, a really nice little wave, and obviously the other wave previous to the one that actually finished the pre-order schedule has also been redone by Hasbro, by Super 7. They brought it back out again, so you can get involved if you missed out on those pre-orders. And I wonder, Pat, if that is also down to maybe they didn't do as well as they wanted to on the pre-orders with that one.
Yeah, I kind of wonder as well. I mean, that's a shame to think that that may be the reason, but it could be.
That was a solid wave as well with Zartan, Baroness version 2, Gung Ho, and Stalker. It was a pretty heavy hitting lineup. So
yeah, I think that they are addressing some of the things that people didn't like about Wave 2.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
so
they shouldn't have that.
Damaged them.
They shouldn't. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the fact that the heads weren't painted, I think was a big kind of issue. Okay, well, next up then we have got. Well, what is next? I've completely forgotten what's next. Haslab, I think. Yes, it is. We've got some Haslab news. Yes, the mighty Dragonfly Haslab smashed through the unlocks, and despite not needing an extra day due to an app timer mishap, it ended on a hugely respectable 24,764 orders. Not bad after all, and we get 3 extra figures in Nightforce Ripcord, Glenda, and Nightforce Crazy Legs. It's yet another successful Haslab for the Joe team, and almost certainly cements the line's existence for a few more years. Someone's made a good point here, Robert H, on the previous thing. If something's sold bad, why would they bring it back? Well, it's because with the pre-orders, you have to make a certain amount for it to be profitable for them, and they're probably bringing it back out to see if they can maybe extend that profit margin. Because again, there's a balance with this stuff, like with tooling and all the other stuff. The more and there's also a balance at the other end of it. Like if you overproduce, or you get loads and loads of pre-orders in, it's actually the costs rise kind of quite substantially. So there is a balance point, but obviously they might just be under those in terms of numbers. But that's why I think they're doing that, honestly. Anyway, Haslab now, Dragonfly XH1 Pat, successful. Was it ever in any doubt for you?
Not really. I mean, these Haslabs have, for G.I. Joe anyway, have been doing very well. I didn't have any doubt. It's always the inverted bell curve on these, where you'll have most of your pre-orders right away. I'm kind of curious how the Ghost is doing. That just went up yesterday for Haslabs.
I want to say halfway done already.
It hit there like within an hour. It hit halfway that real quick. Wow. And whenever you were saying, this is guaranteed the line's success for a few years, it's like, which one do you mean? The G.I. Joe line or the Haslab line? Because I think as G.I. Joe keeps on making Haslabs successful, G.I. Joe is helping to guarantee more Haslabs.
Yeah. Yes, but the problem, I think as well, Star Wars did actually, they faltered the last one, didn't they, with the Rancor? Have they had one since then?
They had the lightsaber that also failed.
Ah, that was afterwards, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
so had a couple of them.
They've had a couple of. The Ghost looks pretty cool, actually. I'm not going to lie.
It looks really nice.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Like I was actually surprised at how nice it is. Oh yeah, they're like 5,425. So they're way past halfway. They're closing in on that pretty quickly.
But can they fund in the first day like the Dragonfly did?
Yeah, I think it probably might do. Yeah, I think as well the fact that it's so nice. Do you know this might be a thing here, Pat, for HasLabs, revealing all of the stretch tiers like immediately, just like here are all of the tiers that you're gonna have. Go nuts. Do you think that has a more positive effect on people wanting to back it?
You know, obviously that creates more of the fear of missing out, but I wonder how that affects momentum.
Mm.
You know, so I don't know. I think that we've seen the various effects. I do think that it's not a bad idea to have some new reveals that were unexpected.
Yeah.
Sometimes during the campaign, like
Yeah.
it's almost like an unexpected reveal may be better than a thing that's a mystery from the start. Like they
Yeah.
just like, hey, it's this HasLab, this ship with a few figures, and then somewhere along the line, no, there's another figure, or no, it comes with because honestly, it's you see the head of the droid in there, but you don't see the body, and that's confusing. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. It makes me wonder if that's going to be revealed later.
Yeah.
In that HasLab. Anyway, we're really getting into the Star Wars on this.
No, that's great, and it's all relevant though. It's relevant in our conversation because, like I said, like when you kind of compare it to like this HasLab, which again stunningly successful, HISSTANK, like literally crazy successful. The Sky Striker HasLab was successful. It wasn't like 100%, didn't get to ketchup and mustard, aka the ground crew, but it did. It did big numbers for G.I. Joe, for it being the first HasLab and everything and all that stuff. And considering the kind of, I don't know, the kind of not fence sitting, but like it wasn't like the blow your mind kind of thing. We'd had so many Sky Strikers in the past, but there were so many nice additional elements to it, and the stand and the blast effects and all that kind of stuff and all of that jazz. And then of course Ruthel, Ace, Scarlet, Pilot Scarlet, and Night Force Ripcord characters, and the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander, the Pit Viper, the Pit Trooper kind of thing, like the what's the word I'm looking for? The Snake Pit Crew.
The Ramp Rats.
Ramp Rat. That and then like a different decoed trooper. Lots of different new infused ideas and fun elements to it. So it was more of, I think they describe it as a collection of items, and that kind of made a lot of sense. But and they had everything. It was like on show from day one. It was like, there's everything from day one. Do you think also, like you say, like that kind of reveal thing gives it a more exciting, and like you say, I think the momentum element of, they know that the first part of the thing's going to be the big part. They need those boosts. So do you think these little reveals give them that boost?
Yeah, I mean, anything that's going to get people talking again on social media is going to be a plus. If they just revealed everything at the beginning and there wasn't any sort of stretch goal or anything at all, there wouldn't be anything for us to continue talking about in the middle, and it would create a bigger dip in the middle of the campaign, and may cause it to fizzle out if you didn't have people constantly thinking about it.
Yeah,
and looking toward that goal at least.
Absolutely. Past the program makes a good point here, but I do want to talk on this because there are a lot of differences, a lot more there's a lot more complexity to it just being comparing orange apples to apples. I don't know if it guarantees the line. Sky Striker funded and the O-ring line is effectively dead. Yes, but there's a lot more to kind of look at here. One, the classified series, look at how it's grown in the past year alone. We're looking at this year being like an absolute banner year for the line, and probably going into 2024 in a similar way. But you could also argue that might they burn everyone out a little bit with the amount of reveals and pre-orders and stuff like that are kind of coming at us thick and fast. You could kind of look at it in two ways. I think what I'm getting at is it shows the popularity of the line to fund so quickly and hit every stretch goal and go beyond without really any moment where you're like, oh, I'm not sure. The only speed bump was the reveal of Glenda, and even then it kept moving. So I don't know. I feel like it just shows that there's a definite like serious popularity for the classified series at the moment, and that just shows in what we've been seeing at SDCC as well. In terms of the O-ring, though, it was a different story, wasn't it? It was like the Sky Striker was the best part of the O-ring, and everything else was like drips and drabs, and not really, nothing was coming out. And the Sky Striker was almost like it almost felt like when the Vintage Collection revealed the sail barge, or like a flip version of it, where they revealed the sail barge but didn't have any figures to go with it, so they kind of reignited the Vintage Collection a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a lot of missteps with the reintroduction of the O-ring figures, and honestly, the Sky Striker funded and was popular, but it was not a good thing that whenever it showed up, people had a lot of issues with, even aside from the bent cards, Scarlet's crossbow not being right, and then them claiming that it was right, which I still don't think was the right move on that.
No.
They needed to make the crossbow again and send it to everybody.
Yeah.
The Sky Striker not being all packed inside the box.
Yeah.
There was a lot of weird decisions with that, and some things that just didn't quite take off with the Sky Striker. I think that for me, the feeling for future HasLabs is going to be affected even more by how well they execute the Hiss. Like once we all get the Hiss in hand, that's when we'll know how to feel for future HasLabs, I think.
Well, we'll talk about the Hiss in a little while, definitely. One more thing to talk about the HasLab. They extended the thing because of the mess up on the app timer and everything. I didn't really see this as an issue. Like I didn't really like. It wasn't like it was like, well, they've already done they've already smashed through everything. They've unlocked everything. At this point, this is just a bonus for no real.
If you were one of the people who was going off of the app to actually consider, and you were sitting there like, a day ahead thinking, well, maybe I will, maybe my paycheck comes in tomorrow and I'm going to fund it, but I don't want to commit quite yet. I want to make sure that I have the money tomorrow. Yeah. And then you find out it ended early because the app was wrong. Yeah. You'd be upset, and you'd have a good reason to be. Yeah. So them extending it, I think, was just the right move.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think that is the example that I would have probably thought of myself, and as well, like the person that is utilizing the app, and they're doing that thing where they're waiting until the last minute just to make sure everything's in line and correct. Yeah, you're totally right on that one, mate. Again, I think it was a non-issue, and I think obviously there might have been a little bit of like sour grapes with some of the lines that maybe didn't fund and maybe could have done with an extra day, and that might have been the only real reason that they thought that. Yeah. But at the same time, it's different. You can't compare the two. One was a struggling, struggling to get there, and the other one was a situation where they needed to do something. What time is the SDCC Joe panel? I believe it is 1 p.m. Pacific in California. So it will be what, 4 o'clock our time on the East Coast?
Yeah, and I think Philip's going to be, with any luck, Philip will be live streaming that as well.
Fantastic. He actually live streamed the Skybound panel yesterday where Larry Hammer was on it.
You did last night,
and I was driving it. I missed it completely, but I've shared it since. So thank you, Phil, for that. And also thanks for all the pictures, Phil. My God, you've been sending us loads of stuff. Anyway, it finished at 24,764, Pat, the HasLab. Are you surprised at that number? Was that something that does that blow you away? Do you think that's amazing, or how do you feel?
I feel okay about it. I mean, that's strong in my opinion, because what the HISSTANK did a little bit more than this, right?
Yeah, it had 4 extra days, I believe, or 3.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's a HISSTANK.
Yeah,
this is just a Dragonfly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's quite an impressive.
The fact that the Dragonfly came close to HISSTANK numbers. Yeah, HISSTANK's a HISSTANK. Like that thing's way more, in my opinion, way more iconic and way more specific to G.I. Joe than the Dragonfly. When they revealed the Dragonfly, no, I didn't. I wanted to unlock Glenda, and I kept on logging in, but I was at work, and then like it got close, and I'm like, I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to make it happen. and then I looked and it was like 90 past the number.
Oh no!
I was so disappointed. Yeah, I was
Pat,
going to screenshot it just like the number before, fund it, and then screenshot it again and claim that I had done it. But no. But I did get in right afterward. So.
Oh, Alex has said it's 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. On the West Coast. I thought it was 1 p.m. for some reason. I think Emily said that the other day, actually. So yeah, I'd have missed that completely.
Yeah, yeah, and I think he might be doing that on the Articulated Points channel.
Brilliant.
Rather than on YouTube. He may be doing it on there. It all just depends on what kind of setup Philip has. So look both at Philip's YouTube, Philip's Facebook, or look for Articulated Points, because I'm hoping that's what he does it.
We're going to share it as well we're going to share what Phil does on our page too. So
okay, sweet.
Yeah, they'll see it in some way, shape, or form. Adam says, just a Dragonfly. I wanted the Dragonfly way more than the Hiss. Again, it's what you prefer, isn't it? But I have to agree with Pat on this one. The HISSTANK is so iconic to Cobra, to G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I have to kind of go with you on that one, bud. Anyway, we've still got, that's the Haslab. We've still got one more story to go through, and it's quite a big one. So let's get recapping SDCC before we have to go. San Diego Comic-Con kicked off with a bang, revealing a number of upcoming projects with one single banner image at the HASBRO booth. Day 2 was also filled with some great reveals, so yes, it's SDCC, yes, it's far too much for any of us to handle, so let's just recap it, shall we? Yep, too much to go through, so I didn't bother doing a proper video for it. Sue me. Now, we'll start with Threezero. So obviously we've already talked about these figures. Nice to see them in person though, Pat, and you can kind of really get some of the nice details going on there, can't you?
Yeah, I like seeing the way that the Cobra logo is an actual, physical thing rather than just printed on the cape. But yeah, for a 12-inch figure, I kind of expect it to look this nice. Yeah, I do kind of wish that he came with his original Cobra Commander gun, like the hair dryer style. You
never know. They're going to have a lot of. I mean, they have lots of accessories. We'll see the loadout. I'm sure they might sneak that in there.
Yeah, that's true. If not, somebody can make one for me.
I'm sure. There's probably one already at 12-inch scale. Sideshow probably did it, didn't they?
I think you're right.
I want to say they did.
I think I like this better than the Sideshow figure, though.
People are saying there are conflicting times for the panel. Some are saying 12, some are saying 1. I believe it is 1 o'clock or 4 p.m. Eastern. If not, Phil, tell us what time is the panel, mate? Because you're going to have to be there and you're going to have to film it. And it just popped up in the chat. So,
there he is. Yeah.
There he is. Look, hi, guys. I'm so tired. Well, you're doing the Lord's work, my man. Thanks for all the pictures you're sending us and all the, all the stuff, the content from the show and everything. Really appreciate it, buddy. Keep being tired. We also have Destro, and we can get to see some of his kind of like textures and panels and all that kind of stuff. Again, looks pretty good. Oh, good. 1 p.m. Definitely 1 p.m. says Phil, and he's going to be doing it. So perfect. 1 p.m. on the West Coast. That's 4 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m.
4 p.m. 4:15 comic panel as well.
Yes, and a 4:15 comic panel that he's doing. So that'll be Skybound Image, Transformers Energon, G.I. Joe Universe thing, which is going to be awesome. Awesome, brilliant. Guys, pay for Phil's coffee, says Figure 6 Pack. Absolutely. We've got to. Okay, we've got to pay you for coffee, Phil. Pat can Venmo you or something. Yeah, so Destro, what do you think, Pat?
I do like it. It's an interesting. I like looking at the textures. Once you get things into 12-inch, see, this is why I actually prefer my figures in 4-inch or 12-inch, because I think that once you get into the 12-inch scale and you're dealing with actual like fabric materials and you're choosing the textures, I think that really drives home how he's supposed to look a little more armored up top. Right. I think.
Right.
In this design, I mean, that's not how Destro necessarily always is. I actually think that the first figure was supposed to be more of a jacket with a whole lot less flair to the collar. But the cartoon went this way. Even the later figures did. This is become what Destro is synonymous with, is that big collar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the way that I like all the various textures that they've chosen for his jacket.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And yeah, they're the red eyes as well up close, so you can kind of see them nice and clear. As well as Threezero, we also had Mezco reveals, and I've got to say the picture looks kind of funny on this one. But yeah, Mezco Duke. They've kind of gone with that. Like again, this is the body type they use is very stocky, isn't it? They're all quite stocky little figures. The Mezco 6-inch line. What do you think of Duke? Kind of, I guess, early development phase.
Yeah, actually, well, he doesn't look bad.
No.
It does look like it's very early, that they wanted to get kind of like some sort of reveal out there. Clearly, he's not going to just come this way with no accessories.
And also like be standing in a certain way, because you know that the articulation and everything isn't like quite on point for the prototype that they have. But yeah, I quite like this. Again, like there's someone said he looked like John Cena, which I thought was quite funny. But then I couldn't see it. But anyway, yeah, so G.I. Joe Duke 112 Collector. They also revealed, oh, thank you, Leonard Lima Jr., for the super chat. Build a vehicle series box art fold to connect. There's a lot of information in that one comment you've made there, Leonard, but thank you so much for the super chat. Build a vehicle series box art fold to connect. That'd be kind of interesting. So, like, are you talking about the build a vehicle as one thing and the box art folds to connect to create a dio? Or are you saying that you're making a vehicle out of the box art folded up? Let us know in a regular, you don't have to keep doing super chats. I'll just look for you again in a regular one. But yeah, give us a bit more on that one. But thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. Yes. So that, yeah. Oh, of course, Diana is excited. Of course you are, Diana. You're the leading Duke fanatic in the G.I. Joe fandom. So I'm glad you're happy that Duke's coming. Kitty said. It does look like a Paint Master. Yeah, she said herself, it looks like the Paint Master close up. He has a cramp in his hand from fighting for so much democracy. Brilliant. Hope you're having a great time there as well, Diana. I saw a few pictures of you hugging Larry as well while you were there, which is awesome. Yeah, send our regards to everybody. Yeah, so there's Duke in Mezco. I'm sure we'll get more information on that one very soon. They also showed off Storm Shadow, who looks pretty cool. I like him. His little knee pads there. Ninjas need knee pads. And then, of course, this little addition. We haven't seen Timber yet, so it was nice to see that Snake Eyes Deluxe is coming with Timber. And again, pretty cool figure. And what do you think of Timber? Do you think he's gonna be better than the classified version, or do you think that's going to be hard to beat?
That's gonna be hard to beat. I like the materials used in the classified version too, and I'm just associating these with maybe some stiffer material.
Kitty
Am I wrong?
Yeah, definitely. The classified ones. Well, I haven't seen this figure, and we won't have it in hand for a while yet. But I have a feeling that the classified version will be slightly softer material, definitely. Anyway, classified builder vehicle. Yeah, Leonard. Okay, that would be. I think it would work for maybe like the snake armor. Would you say, Pat? A builder vehicle could work for that, couldn't it?
Yeah. Well, yes. I think that the Hasbro pattern with the build-as, like the build-a-figures, has been to make the build-a-figure, but then later on come out with it, on its own with maybe a new head or a new deco. So whatever, if they did a build-a series, I've often thought the pack rats would make sense.
Yeah, pack rats would be great.
But yeah, you could do the snake armor and then release the snake armor on its own in blue, and maybe do the blue one as the build-a, and then the white one is the separate one. You could do that for sure.
The thing is, you're looking at 5-figure wave, and you'd have to build that vehicle in 5 figures. And the fact they do vehicles anyway at that size, they do a vehicle and a figure. I think I'd prefer having a figure and a vehicle come together, honestly, just like in a slightly bigger set,
Yeah, sometimes I felt like padding things out with additional accessories or build-a parts is a way of leapfrogging the price as well. Introduce those build-a parts and then say, well, we're raising the price because these parts are in there.
Yeah.
And then a few waves later, just we're not doing that anymore, and that's the price.
And that's exactly, yeah, like, yeah,
You know?
a hidden hot cost hike, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, no neck articulation on timber, says Sean on this one. Yeah, so I think the classified one is still safe in its yeah, Adam's right. I think classified timber was the best figure of 2021 as well, actually. I think it was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Adam. Build a fatal fluffy, says Justin. I like that. That'd be amazing. Yeah, I think I prefer to get more accessories anyway than a build a figure. But anyway, it's an interesting comment, and it's also an interesting topic that has been talked about quite a lot with the classified series. Mezco also showed off Roadblock, Destro, and Firefly. I do have the Destro figure. It is really good. So I've got high hopes for the rest of the figures in this line for sure. Yeah. Then Super 7, Pat. This is a big one, right? This is a big one. So we've got obviously the deck that they've decked out their shop. It looks awesome again. They've got the kind of global Cobra kind of decoration like floating around and everything. But more importantly, obviously, Red Knock Baroness and Ultimates Red Jackal on display. First of all, I don't think we've had the opportunity to talk about these because you weren't here last week, were you?
Yeah, no, I was gone.
What do you think? What do you think of them doing foreign variations?
There's something really nice seeing the Red Shadows logo on the box that large, that it just is going to be a nice thing, even if you just leave it in the box and have it on the shelf.
Yeah.
You don't see that logo very often anymore. So yeah, I think that this is a really nice choice and kind of surprising.
Oh, definitely. It's kind of one of those things that I think people would said a lot in the comments, and we talked about, you know, repainting, getting like Red Jackal or Red Laser or any of those kind of like basic repaints, you know. But it never really dawned on me that I never really thought it would actually happen.
I kind of thought that he'd be too close to Destro, that people would not go for it, and so maybe they would not do it, is honestly what I thought.
But he does look fairly significantly different in the way that they've done it. I mean, you can't really be different. It's just Destro, isn't it, at the end of the day? But I like the fact that they're doing it, and I love the fact that it's always also interesting. I think they're doing it. It's not Red Jackal as a character necessarily. It's an alias, I think, of Destro is how they're utilizing it in their universe. It's their Sunbow universe, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Which, I mean, didn't Red Jackal become Destro in the comics anyway?
Yeah.
So
pretty much, but he was also a cyborg. So
right, I know. Yeah, it's a little bit of that retcon and hope people forget kind of thing that they had going on.
Pepperidge Farm remembers, Pat.
What?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh, it does. Yes, he has the red eyes here though too.
Yeah, he does. He does. But he's a red shadow, so he has to have red eyes, right?
It makes a lot of sense to have that small difference on there. Yeah.
I love the fact that they even contemplated doing something Fun School India.
How do you suppose they figured out the weapons loadout for these characters?
Not a clue, because there's some interesting things in there that not on show. There is the fact that he comes with Flint's backpack.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that they've not just taken whatever came with Destro and recolored it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it is an interesting one. I still don't know if they're binoculars or if it's a little book. I still don't know what that is. I'm sure it's some sort of future binocular type, you know, kind of square binoculars thing. But I don't remember them being in the line yet. Yeah, and Red Knock Baroness. I mean, it's an interesting one. I'm really surprised they went and did something in Ultimates that was a Fun School variation. I'm glad they did, but it's really interesting. I mean, does this open the door for Canary Anne as well, do you think?
Oh, for sure. I would say yes.
Cool. That's coming. Confirmed, guys. We also got some shots, obviously, of the City of the Dead box set, which is really fun. The Python Patrol Trooper, which is an exclusive for the show. And the snake armor was revealed. Sorry, I thought I was going to a different image there. The snake armor, Pat. What do you think of this?
I think it's really cool. I think that I would like the figure inside of it to have been ultimate scaled That's the only thing that I will say. Even if it doesn't make sense because of the size of how big it is, I still would prefer that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they obviously wanted to hit that height that they've been doing with the super cyborgs, and that height kind of determines how large the character would be inside, because we already know what the proportions are. But even still, there's a good part of me that's like, well, then I would just prefer them to, space it out, make it a little more roomy for the figure in there. Because what is this? Maybe like an 11-inch figure?
Yeah, it's 11 inches, and the figure is like half molded inside, so it's only half of the front of the figure, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's molded in, but obviously it's like, it's kind of like, it's not, there's no, you can't really, there's no back of the figure or anything. Just kind of right up against that back wall type thing. I have to admit, like, if you close all this up and just have it with your ultimates, it kind of works as that big snake arm that you see in the movie that blows the doors down. But if you kind of like have the thing open and the figure's massive compared to an ultimates figure, it's really like comically larger than an ultimates figure inside. So you'd have, like, I thought it might make sense to make it like a multi-compatible scenario, but that's probably where it probably just got a bit pricey. It gets difficult around the waist to work that out, if they want to kind of articulate that. So I guess they went with this as like a compromise, but I think it would have been cool if because this would have had enough space for an Ultimates figure to operate inside, I think.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. Is the torso removable?
No, that is because it's molded in there into the back piece.
It would have been nice if you could have fit a little seat and just had a snake with a 3 3/4-inch figure, just the torso part of it.
Now you get to Robo Skull Mark II territory for that, like multi-scale. Yeah.
Well, that's what I imagine is going on with that larger snake in the movie.
Yeah, there's just like little guy in there.
There is like I think a little clear part on the one in the movie, isn't there? Like a window.
Yeah.
On his stomach. Yeah, where you could see maybe a shadow of a character sitting there.
I'll have to look at that particular scene, because they're all in front of the snake armor when it blows the doors down, and I'll have to have a look at that again. But effectively, in terms of size, it towers over the characters, so I think it would be a nice kind of complement with your ultimate figures. It would look nice anyway, just with those figures. But yeah, Cyborg it's still fun and ridiculous, and I kind of like it, and it looks so good. 2 panels on the front, so you got electronics that go over the front, and then you get the front panel goes on, and then you got the leg panels. So there's lots of like fun stuff coming on this one, and based on precedent, it's likely we'll see a transparent version of this as well. When you think of what the Bat did and what they've done with all the other ones they've done, I would expect a transparent version of this as well.
But I kind of want this one.
It's cool, isn't it? It's really cool.
Yeah.
Right, and then this is an interesting reveal. Now, this was probably the one thing that had all the eyebrows raising. A reaction scale intro to Cobra airship. Sunbow intro to Cobra airship. Now, this is the one, obviously, when Ace is coming over the horizon, he sees the reflection of it in his visor, and then obviously you see him flying towards it, and it's the big airship they all do battle on. Now, it looks fairly sizable with that. Also, this is a bit of another reveal. There's a Viper, a reaction Viper on top of that, on top of the actual airship. So I don't think we've had the Viper yet, have we? So that is a...
No, and who are those 2 guys in the back corner there?
They're the jetpack troopers from the Pyramid of Darkness set.
Okay.
And then obviously you've got Trouble Bubbles as well, which is pretty cool. But let's talk about this, Pat. What are your initial thoughts, please, and thank you?
I assume this thing opens up. I assume that it has maybe some guns that flip out. I'm expecting some sort of features, or it to be mostly a display piece. I'm not sure. It's obviously not scaled the same way that it is in the cartoon, because that would be ridiculous.
It'd have to be like the top part of a Death Star to be in the same kind of size. You know, like it would have to be so big, wouldn't it, to
Yeah.
be scaled?
Yeah. So I'm curious. Obviously, I'm wondering the obvious question is space and price. Like how much space will this take up, and what is the price?
Yeah, I haven't. It's hard to gauge the size with just one reaction figure standing on it. It doesn't. It definitely isn't as big as I thought it was going to be, based on that viewpoint at the moment. But I'm sure if it was to be in hand, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is massive, and kind of a bit ridiculous. But again, I think we'll find out more information about that very soon. Does it come with trouble bubbles? Is a question, or are these
Right.
going to be a separate
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I was just kind of assuming that they would be a separate thing, but that's a good point. It could be all one big package.
Oh, Philip says it's maybe 18 inches across, from what he remembers when he went to see it. So, yeah, I'd have to. I need a tape measure. We don't know when it's going up for sale. Obviously, they're gonna bring. You know, they'll explain that as and when it comes up. Also, Phil wanted to tell us the tags may say Destro and Baroness, but the boxes don't. Red Jackal weapons supplier and Red Knock intelligence officer are what's on the boxes. So it's not what I would say, Phil, is it's only in their description online that it suggests that it's Destro and the Baroness. That's what I was kind of going from.
Oh, that's interesting. So it is officially Red Knock.
Yeah, so that's great. That's great. But again, we'll probably find out more. I'll ask Brian some of these questions as well eventually when he gets back from SDCC. We haven't got price point. We haven't got any information on this yet, guys. So this is all speculative at the moment. Now, moving away from Super 7, classified reveals. We got Tiger Force Flint popped up initially. That was the first thing I saw anyway when I was going through the images online. And this is I thought this is a really nice deco for the figure. I like they've thrown in a few more kind of elements like the Recondo secondary and the machete and the rifle. So he's kind of like decked out with a few more accessories here. What are your thoughts, Pat, on Tiger Force Flint?
A little weird. I
Right.
kind of think that the line was definitely going toward a different look whenever they did the original Flint, and they are going more traditional now. So I kind of think that Flint for Tiger Force was a little bit of an odd choice. And I kind of was expecting him to be a pre-paint for a new standard Flint.
Okay.
So this is a little bit surprising to me, but it's almost nice that they aren't going so traditional with the deco.
Yeah.
As far as his face goes, considering the thought that if they ever do a traditional Flint, a more traditional Flint, I should say, it would make sense. Like they'd almost have to do a Tiger Force one again.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, a little bit of a surprise to me. I still don't really know how I feel about it, like what my gut feeling is, whether I enjoy it or don't. I'll kind of want to see it in person first.
Okay, that's fair enough. You just don't want the hate online come flying at you. So you're being neutral at the moment. It's cool, man. I get it.
That's how I am. Honestly, for a lot of figures, if I don't really have a definitive feel for it, it's best to have things in hand. And I haven't been buying every single figure, so it may not even happen to get this one in hand.
True.
Definitely not blown away by it, that's for sure.
I am. I was like really excited for this figure to come out, and I think the face paint is so cool. I just think he looks really cool, and I like the kind of elements they've added to him, and it just looks really neat. And yeah, so I'm kind of very happy with this particular deco as well. I just think it looks just really vibrant. And of course, on the packaging, we've got his red sports car in the background, or could it be another Transformers crossover hint here, Pat? So like a mixture of the red sports car from Flint's Vacation and maybe a Dodge Viper cliff jumper or something like that. What do you
alternators,
think? Alternators vibes.
Yeah, no, I don't think that that's any sort of hint of anything to come. I think that Yeah, they're not just going to make a Dodge Viper and expect.
I'm not saying they. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like we've got Dark Energon, but I don't think we're going to get a Dark Energon accessory pack. Do you know what I mean? Like, or like, I don't think we're going to get Transformers in the Classified series. I'm just wondering if they are homaging, is what I'm getting at, a Transformer crossover.
There could be, but I don't think so. I think it's just Flint's Vacations.
Just Flint's Vacations car, yeah. This was my thought process when I first saw it. They were probably thinking, let's give some like, you know, some Sunbow homage in the background. He's got a red sports car in Flint's Vacation, but shall we do a different version, a more up-to-date version of it in the background? That's my what I think they went through in terms of a thought process on that one. Anyway, that was Flint. We also got, there's Flint again. We also got the Python Patrol Ninja. This has been one that's been kind of leaked for a while now in terms of the description of the character. We've known about this for a long time, and finally it's out, and we can see that, well, we just thought it was a Python Patrol Ninja. We didn't know it was going to be a female ninja, so that's even cooler. What are your thoughts on this one, Pat? I think it's a Kiko's body, Zorana's arms, and Zartan's mask.
Yeah, but it looks like it might be the Blue Ninja female head with Zartan's mask on it. Yeah. I think the mask actually makes the head look a little bit too large and maybe a little bit too like the mask
overbitey
out a little too a little bit overbitey. Too much. So I think that she may end up looking better with that on.
I should say technically it is the Blue Ninja because it's the different feet as well. So yeah, it's effectively a Kiko / Blue Ninja and Zorana's arms and the mask for Zartan. Yeah, I do like the deco though, and I like the design, and it'll be interesting to see what that mask looks like in real life as well. But I don't know, I'm digging it. I think it's kind of cool, wicked concept. I love the extra kind of deco on the mask too. Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm excited to see all of the packaging and the promo shots. That's what I'm excited to see. Then we got Chuckles. So obviously they're kind of showing off Chuckles in a big way. And for a while, I was thinking, oh, we haven't talked about Chuckles because you weren't here last week either, Pat.
No, we haven't.
Take us through your basic thoughts on Chuckles then.
Well, it's the Brandon Jerwa books on Chuckles were the ones that made me really love Chuckles even more as a character. Obviously, I thought that the original figure was cool, and I already liked Chuckles, but I really thought that he was the one that brought the character to having his own special corner of G.I. Joe. And yeah, I think that this celebrates that. I like that. This is not what I was expecting, though, because I think that Chuckles with the armory was what we had originally seen. This is not an armory.
Yeah.
This is not an armory. So this is not what I was expecting.
I'm glad it's not an armory in a sense, though, because an armory doesn't really make sense for Chuckles.
No, it doesn't. And we were looking to see how an armory would make sense. So is it what I was expecting? No, it is not. I was expecting an armory when I see a description called armory.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the handcuffs. So sexy. That's, and the fact that it comes with a broken set. I do kind of feel like in this set, the joke's on Chuckles. I think I mentioned that to you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's like making faces at Cobra and, hey, I got away with the plans. But if you look closely, the plans are for a Crimson Bat. So I'm sure that when he opens up that folder, it's just going to say, it's just a bat, but it's red.
That's what I like about this narrative more than anything. It's the fact that he's gone to such degrees, like crazy lengths, to get these files of just what is effectively a bat in red. There you go. Yeah. Congratulations, Chuckles. Maybe they didn't have the plans for the bat. Maybe it's, you know, you never know. But you're right. Yeah, the joke's on Chuckles on this one. I do love all the accessories. I think it's fun that they threw all those in there. This is probably the armory they were talking about, but it comes with the Crimson Strike team, not with Chuckles. So yeah, this looks like a much more significant 3-pack style box for the weapons for those guys, which obviously will be a PulseCon exclusive. We might even see they might even reveal renders of it today at the panel. We will have to wait and see. This was the big news, though, Pat. It was the 788 Fireteam reveal and this cheeky Techno Viper that's got everyone in a tizzy because they don't know what's going on, despite the fact I've tried to explain it multiple times. You've got the 788 Fireteam, and then you've got, in a similar theme, a Techno Viper. Now, we know that he comes with something else. We can't say what it is. We'll just have to wait until the panel reveal today to find out. But I think everyone has more or less worked it out from what I was telling them the other day on the stream. But what did you think of this as a reveal? Were you like, wow? Or had I already showed you an image of? Had I already shown you an image of this?
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I actually really liked seeing the Range Viper in here.
Big time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that this is a good way of supplementing the HISSTANK, and there is still that part of me that sees this and goes, "Oh, I'd really like that in 4-inch scale."
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it, as a deco for the Range Viper at that scale? Definitely. Some cracking shots of the artwork. Shout out to Oliver Barrett for some amazing work on this. And this is the Techno Viper, Pat. Does this excite you?
Well, I think that this clearly means we're getting a Techno Viper, like a standard color Techno Viper as well at some point. I would assume.
Definitely. Yeah, this is clearly linked to the theme for the 788 Fireteam and the HISSTANK. Then we had day 2, which revealed even more stuff. So we had an even like the breakfast. I call it the breakfast at Tiffany's. If that wasn't, it was just a breakfast thing with Hasbro, which sadly I was invited to but couldn't make it. How rubbish that is, eh? Anyway, I was also invited to record and film at the Super 7 store with Brian and the Super 7 team before they opened it, which I mean, I just couldn't go. I know I had all these opportunities and I couldn't go. I feel so sad. If I'd had 1 million subscribers, guys, it would have been fine, but I don't. So if we get the subs up, maybe next year I can go and do all these things and get you like on, at the scene footage and information and all that good stuff that you like from the full force. Anyway, the HISSTANK looks glorious in my opinion. This is a final production model or a final production piece. It's exciting because it looks like it's the real deal, Pat.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that whenever we get this in hand, that will better shape our feelings toward HasLabs in the future, more so than the Sky Striker did.
Also, they showed that the joysticks and like levers and stuff work inside on the hand things on the armrests, and they move around, which is crazy cool. And they showed the seatbelt being taken off as well in a video, so it looks pretty awesome. I'm so excited for this to come in, man. I can't even tell you. This thing it's going to be massive and also just sensational. There's another image of the weapons loadout change on the side as well. But anyway, the HISSTANK was revealed. We got some promo images as well. The box art looks phenomenal from, again, Oliver Barrett did that. The kind of wraparound frieze, which I thought was interior box art, it said in the blog. So I'm surprised to see it on the exterior, but I'm happy. Maybe there's another sleeve that goes over it. And that's what they were talking about. I don't know. But it looks pretty gorgeous, the box art, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks really good. I like it.
Then we've got the lineup of figures as well. So we get to see those kind of in full now in their renders. No, sorry, not renders, in actual physical product photography. All looking very tight. I'm very impressed with how the Tactician turned out. I like that, I like how he looks in reality, is what I'll say on that one. And obviously Cobra Commander was always going to be superb. But there you go. That's all their loadout and everything, all looking very, very cool. And a couple of shots of everything, obviously, in... God, that thing's going to be massive. It's going to be massive. Anyway, Storm Stratos has asked, MMS, thank you for the super chat. MMS is coming with Techno Viper. Confirm? We can't, mate. We can't tell you. We can all we can say is thank you so much for the super chat. And yeah, that's all I can say. Maybe if I do this, there you go. That's all I can do. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's awesome. HISSTANK sorted. Then we got Chuckles, some close-ups of him, but we also got loads of promo shots of him as well. There's a few close-ups of all of the, the brass knuckles and the different head and the accessories. And this is all on show, of course, at the breakfast. And then the promo shots are amazing. And real fun as well. Lots of fun-infused shots here from Shooting the Galaxy, who was on the other day and was commenting and all that kind of good stuff in the comments. Really, like, I don't know, he's just been really great. So we're going to try and get him on the show very soon. But these are great as well, don't they, Pat? The promo shots.
Yeah, and that may not be a transformer. It may just actually be the same model tape player that Soundwave turns into, or
Exactly.
Sound Blaster.
Sound Blaster, yeah. I've been calling him Soundwave Blaster just to cover all my bases. But yeah, it's very much Headmaster's cartoon rejuvenated Soundwave, isn't it, in black? That's what I'm thinking.
Kind of is, but it could just be the same tape player.
I'm sure, yeah, whatever. This is all about Transformers crossovers now, mate. We've got Flint, we've got the Transformer car helping Flint, we've got Dark Energon, we've got the tape deck. It's happening. You can't do anything about it. Yeah, loads of awesome accessories. I like how depthy the briefcase is, so it allows you to carry a lot of that stuff. Because obviously, and also he can on the back of his belt, you can see the binoculars and the tape deck go on the back of his belt. Yeah, so he's got loads of weird, like almost hidden like features for carrying all of his gear, which is great. And there you go. There's another shot of him having a fight on a beach with some knuckle dusters. Hardcore. He's already been beaten up. Now he's running away with handcuffs on. The narrative is hard to follow, and I've probably not got it in the right order. But effectively,
I don't think he has it in the right order. He has the plans. He needs to get back to base, and he's relaxing on the beach.
Yeah, he's chilling. He's listening to music on his headphones. He thinks he's got out already. There is him with his shades on as well, and violently fighting on a beach again. Stop violently fighting people on a beach, Chuckles, you absolute nutbar.
There's no one there. He's got his brass knuckles out and the knife. There's no one there. He's just maybe, shadow boxing.
He's just tapped, mate, is what it is. I'm just zipping through these because obviously we've got a lot more still to go.
Yeah, and I've got to get going.
I know. And then 788 Fire Team. Wow. What did you think of these as redecos, mate? And I'll skip through them as you talk.
I think that they look really good. It's going to be this is making this, like, I passed up that first 3-pack. This would be hard to pass up. And like I said, I look at these and I'm like, wow, I really would like some 3 3/4 inch figures of this same thought process. I like what they've done here.
I love the packaging. I love this red line art kind of computer graphics almost. I think it's really sexy.
Yeah, we often think of various repaint teams that could happen, but the idea of making a small collection that maybe will or will not be ever added to in the future that goes specifically with a vehicle, it's a win.
Definitely. I love they've all got 788 on there in some different way, shape, or form. That's just dope. 110 is the number for this set. Again, lovely artwork again by Oliver there on the side.
It'd be nice if there were some stickers to cover up the 788, because I think can you do different numbers on the HISSTANK?
That's actually a great shout. Yeah. I don't know if they've got different sticker numbers on the HISSTANK, but obviously you can do. There'll be like Toy Hacks ones and all sorts.
Yeah.
Right there. And then we've got the product images, which are stunning. Again, the box art, the figure loadouts here. These obviously that's the same Range Viper, just one without the secondary and the scarf, one with, and also the backpack's not on the other one on the left, but it shows you the whole loadout. Loads of good stuff with the Range Viper. This is turning into one of my favorite Cobra troopers in the classified series for sure. And then of course the officer looks so good in that deco. I love the vibrant red of the logo as well. It really, I don't know, there's something really nice about it. And that's all his loadout too. There's the bazooka trooper as well. Again, massive loadout, bazooka and backpack and shells and the scrap irons blast effects for the tank that he comes with. And then, my goodness, the shots that Shooting the Galaxy did on this one are phenomenal. Down Dragonfly in the background as well. Brilliant stuff. Just some really nice touches on this. I love that one on the right there, Pat, where they're kind of like communicating to kind of get going, to move on kind of thing. That's really nice. And then obviously the kind of dynamic shots, loading the bazooka for him. And then obviously I'd imagine getting out the bloody way so you don't get burned by the black blast.
Yeah.
And then, of course, these awesome shots as well. It looks like the range viper had his leg taken off by the by the blast of the bazooka there. All very nice, though. And yeah, I think we've said all we need to say on this. It's a phenomenal redeco. Yep. And now, shout outs. Let's keep it moving because Pat's got to go.
Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding.
I was just going to say, I can do this on my own if you want to go now, buddy, and then I'll take the
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to Philip, and then I'm going to go.
Okay, cool. There's Philip. There's a shout
and
out.
Don't forget, later on, hopefully he'll be live streaming those panels, and I really hope that he gets some sleep.
Yeah, same. Anyway, get going, buddy, and I'll deal with this now.
All right, I will see you later.
Pat. See you later, buddy. Boom.
Thanks.
Switched. Bosh. Done. That was smooth enough, wasn't it? That was kind of smooth. Anyway, thanks, Pat. Sorry, I've gone over time as always, and he's going to be late now. I feel bad. But shout out to Phil. Thanks. Shout out to Pat as well for doing the longest show ever again. Shout out to the family. I don't have to rush anymore, so I don't have to run away with this. I'll rewind a bit. Phil, thank you so much for all of the images you've been. Reverse Pat is in the house. Tap has just woken up. Is anything going on? No, we haven't really talked about much today. It's been kind of a chill kind of scenario. But anyway, Reverse Pat in the house. Tap, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. Brilliant stuff. Who works during SDCC, says RKW? Well, people at SDCC do, but yeah, who else does? Crazy stuff. Anyway, I'm glad he got Phil's shout out before he had to leave, and I'm glad it wasn't too jerky of a switch over there. Anyway, massive shout out to the family, to the folks in the UK and everyone in the UK and everyone in the US, and of course to Kate and Phoebes. Massive shout out to all the fam, and then of course to Brian Sauer. Massive shout out for all the graphics and disassembly required. Yes. Another shout out for this, November 3rd and 4th, Hy-Vee Hall. It's been announced. I don't think anything is up yet in terms of ticket sales, but as soon as they are, we will let you know. But just keeping you aware that assembly required, the 12th annual G.I. Joe convention in Iowa is going forward. It's usually assembly required, but obviously it's got a dreadnought theme, and it's going to be disassembly on this one, which is fun. So anyway, that's good stuff. Also, we've got another update for Armor. So thanks to Brian for letting us kind of reveal this information. It'll be going up, I imagine, very shortly on their Facebook page and ours when we share it. But another memorandum has come through from Extensive Enterprises. This time it's about gear kits, pre-orders, of course, and Armor, the event date itself. Excuse me. Yes, Codename Iowa. Thank you very much. More details coming daily. Yes, absolutely. So this is effectively money is power. Wield yours by pre-ordering your official gear kit at the link above, which won't be here. The link above will be, obviously on the actual post that Codename Iowa do. But anyway, yes, the gear kits quantities are limited. Scarcity is a motivator. Make haste. Capitalism only succeeds with your active participation. And I can tell you a little bit about the gear kits because they are kind of up on their website at the moment. Now, I say that, can I? Yes, I can. So there are 3 types of gear kit, I believe. We have got the, we'll start with this version. The 2023 Armor Call Me Fred 4-inch gear kit is $100 and features the following items: a 6x9 cell pop card back featuring Tomax and Zaymot, set of 2. EE parking pass, 2-sided plastic. That's hilarious. An Extensive Enterprises notebook and pen set, 50-page spiral bound. I like the sound of that. Might have something to do with the thing we're looking at on screen at the moment. A Crimson Command sticker set, high quality vinyl die cut. The stickers are always high quality. It's amazing. They're great. Replica blueprint for a Cobra Ferret four-wheeler. Love that as well. Classified collector's catalog with checklist. They're always really nice. Like almost like a fold-out product like leaflet from back in the day, but they've done it for classified. It's so good. Crimson Crunch single-serve cereal box. An Extensive Enterprises Company Picnic official T-shirt. Choose your size. And a 4-inch Extensive Enterprise office play set, including twin desks, 2 executive chairs, and globes suitable for planning world domination. So that's 1/18 scale, and I believe that's the cardboard ones they put together. They're amazing. So this gear kit is phenomenal, and for any 4-inch collectors, it sounds like a must for me. Now, there is also a 6-inch gear kit called the Which Twin Are You set. Also $100, and it comes with the same things that I said previously: the Cell Pop card backs, the EE parking pass, the notepad book with pen, the Crimson Command sticker set, the replica blueprint for the Cobra Ferret four-wheeler, the classified collector's catalog checklist, Crimson Crunch cereal box, the company picnic official T-shirt. But then it has 6-inch double trouble accessory pack, including hooks and zip line, dual laser pistols, chemical can, and briefcase. How awesome is that? So they're going to be like little, accessories for your classified figures. And then a 6-inch diorama backdrop at 1/12 scale, which I don't know what it is yet. Can you tell what it is yet? But I imagine it's going to be some sort of Extensive Enterprises kind of like office maybe kind of scenario. I don't know. Maybe Codename Iowa will give us more details over the coming days. Now, there's one more option for the executive level gear kit at $135, and I believe that is everything I've just mentioned. There's more actually involved in this one, I believe. So let's go through it just in case. Tomax and Zaymot 6x9 Cell Pop card back set of 2. Getting Down to Business Tomax and Zaymot 6x9 Cell Pop card back set of 2. So 4 Cell Pop card backs. The Parking Pass, the Notebook and Pen, the Employee of the Month Award. This new exclusive EE Employee of the Month Award 8x10 plexiglass plaque. That sounds awesome. Crimson Command sticker set, of course, the replica blueprint for the Ferret, the catalog with the checklist, the Crunch cereal box, the Crimson Crunch cereal box, the company picnic T-shirt, the Double Trouble accessories pack for the 6-inch, the 6-inch diorama, and the 4-inch office playset with the desks and everything. So you get everything and a little bit more with the $135 gear kit. So that's the executive level all in. And yeah, that's all on their website right now. So you can get to pre-ordering those as we speak, as well as that's codenameiowa.com. Okay, codenameiowa.com. Or you can go to Codename Iowa on the Facebook page and find all the links there. I've got the links in the thing is actually, yeah, if you go into our description, all of the Codename Iowa links are there, so you can find what you need right there. People keep asking me about the G.I. Joe panel. It's 1 p.m., guys, on the West Coast, so it'll be 4 p.m. Eastern is when the panel goes live, and we'll be doing a live. I'll be doing a live reaction at home to the reveals. It might be a bit glitchy, and I apologize if that is the case, but that's just how it is. So you just have to deal with it. My apologies. Anyway, also to let you know that the Armour event will be taking place on Saturday, August the 19th, 10 a.m. CST, which is 11 a.m. Eastern, I believe. Block your calendars. All other obligations are frivolous. Be there or be disappeared. So we've got a date. We've got gear kit pre-orders going on. It's all happening for Armour. That's Armour. That's the online event, by the way. Assembly required. The in-person convention is separate, just to make that clear to everyone. Assembly required, in-person event, November 3rd to 4th, Hy-Vee Hall. Actual physical convention. Armour is an online event where you can order gear kits and also watch the show, the suite of events and video and all the cool stuff they have for us for Armour on August the 19th at 10 a.m. CST or 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay. Whew. Will they take vintage flag points, says Future Fortress Maximus. You'll have to ask Codename Iowa. Probably not. But that is a good idea. They did a bunch of flag points on some of their stuff as well. So you can actually cut those out. Not that they can buy you anything. But anyway, yeah, massive shout out to them. Now also to Skeletron. Massive shout out to Ben, Mark, and the whole crew. Corey now. Everyone involved. Bob Brechin, of course. And now Alex Hawley is the new artist on the brand, and he's doing this beautiful artwork for the Wolf Trooper carded figure. Absolutely stunning. Now, there's a bit of information to go along with this. Now, the endeavor holds a special significance as Alex Hawley continues the artistic legacy left by the late Ken Kelly, who sadly passed away last year. Inspired by Ken Kelly's iconic Micronauts packaging, Alex Hawley embarks on a journey that eventually led him to meet and forge a close friendship with his childhood idol 2 decades later. We invite you to read the full remarkable story in the latest issue of Toy Collector magazine. This deep-diving action figure magazine is available in print for purchase online and can also be found in select Barnes & Noble bookstores. But what is really fun about this is the fact that Alex Hawley, who obviously was a Ken Kelly protege in a sense, you know, like he's one of the... Ken Kelly was someone that he admired and wanted to kind of, I wouldn't say copy in any way, shape or form or emulate, but to... you know, to homage, and to, you can see that is evident in the beautiful artwork that Alex delivers as well. So it's amazing that he is also now involved with Skeletron and the RoboSkull Mark II and the figures. It's just amazing to continue that legacy in a way. And obviously, it's so sad to hear that Ken Kelly passed away last year, who'd done an amazing job on the artwork that he produced for the RoboSkull Mark II. But anyway, the awesome news, and thank you so much to Skeletron for you know, doing great things. And then also we've had that, obviously we had that update for their delivery schedule. That is apparently still going according to plan. So that delivery schedule we gave you last, I think a couple of weeks ago, is now, like, that is actually going on and is, you know, happening as expected. So we can follow that schedule. And if you don't remember it, we've posted it on our Facebook page prior, or you can go and check that shout outs on the couple of weeks ago weeklies. I think it was the Cobra Convergence weekly we did a couple of weeks ago. Ray Murphy, it is beautiful artwork, isn't it, bud? Absolutely. RKW, love it. Absolutely. Awesome stuff. Can't wait to get that stuff in hand as well. It's very exciting stuff. Anyway, wow. Another 2-hour special. Sorry, Pat, but he did stay with us as long as he could. Anyway, it's been a lot to talk about, and it just keeps getting more and more ridiculous. There's going to be even more to talk about today when I go live later to talk about the reveals from the panel. I'm so tired, so exhausted, but I love this stuff, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you to all our viewers, everyone in the comments today. There's been so many of you. It's been ridiculous. Thanks for all the super chats. Thank you for our patrons as well. We've had loads of new patrons join us on our Patreon page. Thank you so much. We will have another Intel Q&A very soon. I was going to do it this morning, but I have to fit other things in. So, yeah, I will have to take a 4-hour nap, won't I? I definitely will. Thank you, Future Fortress Maximus. Like I said, we'll have loads more content coming. Like I said, the reveal today. Can't wait. I'll try and get it all done as quickly as I can, but I will have to get the slideshow sorted, and then you know, all that graphics and stuff. And then as soon as we can go live, I will. But we will be following their panels as soon as we can after the fact, and we will be sharing Phil Donnelly's live stream of that particular panel as well. Hopefully, if all goes to plan. So see you guys later. It's been an absolute pleasure. Stay fresh cheese bags if you can in this heat. It's so hot where I am as well. I can't even tell you. Probably it's hot everywhere. Anyway, stay fresh cheese bags. After 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force and sleep.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.